To make a quick documentation video. The vehicular stalking and harassment had slowed down for a little while. I was still getting it, but it had slowed down until the moment that I requested to go back to court to speak with the judge regarding some inconsistencies in their what they told me. I told one thing, another thing happens. I get lied to, so I have to keep going back to ask why they tell me one thing and another thing happens. So right after that, the intensity of the stalking and harassment and the covert torture ramped up exponentially. However you say that. And last night, I hadn't been out of the house for a few days. I haven't felt well at all, and just been trying to get work done, doing my best, and decided to leave the house last night, take my dog to the dog park. Last time we went to the dog park, he was attacked by a pit bull. Uh, well, both of us were really. Made a video about that, and so decided, we're gonna head back out there and go enjoy our freedom. And on the way there, going through an intersection, going the speed limit, just driving along, there was a white car that was sitting at the intersection, and right as I was about to go through the intersection, they pulled out right in front of me. I thought we were going to hit them and flip. I hit the brakes, made an evasive maneuver. My dog went flying forward, hit the dash, hit his head, pulled around, pulled behind that car, and tried to get them to pull over. And they just completely ignored me. Then they rolled down the window and started yelling at me like it was my fault. They almost caused possibly a fatal accident. So I decided not to call the police, left that alone, turned around, went back to the dog park, hung out for a little bit, came home. Oh, mind you, right after the near miss, the overhead sign on the way to the dog park said, "Buckle up, don't meet the Reaper." So this is today, just going to pick up my daughter from her friend's house, stayed the night, and this was on the way. So these are just some standard stalking procedures that gang stalkers will use, and it's a lot of it seems real subtle until it happens to you over and over and over, and you start to realize their standard operating procedures. The video will start playing here in a minute, so don't worry about the frozen screen. They will do this to make you uncomfortable, to let you know that you're being watched at all times. Because say you leave your house and one of your neighbors leaves at the exact same time that you do, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 100 times. You start to understand that they are surveilling you 24/7, and that you are being stalked and harassed. And they'll do really subtle things that have plausible deniability, but are obvious to the target after a period of time. So. AWH. So this guy pulled out of his driveway at the exact same time that I pulled out of my driveway. The guy's a Weasley little bastard. Now, this isn't the first time I've ever seen this guy. He lives down on the corner. He shows up pretty much where I'm at all the time. Um, Out in the front yard cleaning up. He goes by on a bicycle, and it's like driving his bike towards my dog. There's an accident a couple years ago. Go out to the accident. He comes up to me and starts using direct conversation, starts telling me a bunch of weird stuff that has nothing to do with anything at all. So there's been multiple encounters with that guy. Okay, now mind you, last night a person pulled into my path, making a left-hand turn, and I almost hit them. So keep that in mind right now. Okay. Notice how much time this guy has? Notice how much time he has to turn. Plenty of time, plenty of time. He just decides he's going to stay all the way in my lane. Look at where he's at. Look at his positioning. He is 100% in my lane. His right tire is almost over that double yellow line right there. Hey there, communist stalker. All right. So now, right before this, I just posted a picture of my old Airman Leadership School shirt. It's got a cross on it. It's got the Punisher skull. I've been talking about God a lot. I've been praying a lot, and keep that in mind as we pull up to the intersection here. I'm sorry, you what? She says it twice. Wow. All right. Notice this guy in front of me. Notice him swerving. And I've been talking about fake news, how the CNN is run by the CIA, mainstream narratives, how they lie to you. I was a journalist in the Air Force for 10 years. I realized that compartmentalized groups in the government, the media work together, and they had an agenda to basically lie to everyone. And I saw it happening. And I was even in a class with a guy named Chuck DeCaro. He was a former CNN reporter, CIA reporter, whatever you want to call him. and he ran a group that was involved in something called softwar, SOFTWAR, and that was manipulating the enemy's perception of reality with multimedia applications, photo, video, broadcast journalism, websites, um, you name it. Bending the reality, changing the reality of the enemy. So, who is the enemy of the deep state currently? The American people. And a couple years ago, maybe a little over a year ago, Chuck DeCaro was in a hotel room with his wife and he was shot several times. He survived. And that was just an interesting CNN journalist fact right there. So, uh, KIA, killed in action, CNN, 9215. I don't know what the 9215 is, but CNN, interesting. All right, so after a near miss, they like to have cars pull up to a stop sign or to an intersection really fast to make you think they're going to pull out in front of you. And they want to do this over and over to create to create trauma. And they want you to sound crazy. Anybody that hasn't gone through this, that doesn't understand how well funded this is and how well organized this is, just think about the fact that the 1%, think about the 1%, the quote elite, are in possession of more wealth combined, more wealth than the other 99% of us combined. So they have more money than 99% of the population. They can easily afford to run an operation like this. It would be no problem at all. All right. And for those of you that are targeted individuals that have been through this a million times, you'll see what's going on at the corner here. It just looks like a guy walking his dog, right? Okay, now we have a guy walking to his house from where? From, I don't know, he was walking from across the street, and at the moment I go by, he lifts up his trash can lid, throws something in the trash. They have cars parked right here. There's bushes right here, and they will park a vehicle with the tail pretty much sticking out. You can't see around the corner. If you're distracted over here on the left-hand side, you're going to run into one of these vehicles. And then we've got the FedEx guy. And it was hard to see him because of the sun flare right there, but he came out at the exact same time. It looked like he was coming out of those people's garage. Maybe he lives there. But that guy showed up to my house before to drop off packages. I remember one time he showed up, my wife had a really nice dress on. She was looking really beautiful that day. He opened the door and he looked her up and down and was, damn. Pretty disrespectful FedEx guy. They like to do that to me a lot because they know it irritated me. All right, and with perfect timing.
I'm here. All right. So notice the timing of.
All right, so, and this guy has the pink license plate frame, which they'll use over and over to signal that if you've been gang stalked and you're going through a similar program that I am, they'll use that. I'm pretty sure that has to do with communism, the pink license plate. So I'm just going to go ahead and end this video right here. Pick my daughter up right here. Don't really need to have her on this recording. But there was more stuff on the way home, some other identifiers, but just thought I would share this one. Impeccable timing on the car pulling out in front of me. The day after we have a near miss, the car pulled out in front of me, turning left. So they're going after the car accident now. Everybody have a good day.